Imagine this. Your entire life, the wealth, the power, the purpose, the fulfillment sits behind one silent, invisible door. And on that door is a single word, fear. Most will walk past it. Some will stare at it. Few, very few, will open it. But the ones who do, they don't just live differently. They become legends. You see, fear is not your enemy. It's your invitation. It is the final test standing between who you are and who you could be. Every great dream you hold, every goal you whisper to yourself in the dark, is hiding behind fear disguised as discomfort, risk, rejection, or uncertainty. And the truth is brutal. If you don't confront fear, you will be ruled by it. You'll build a life around avoidance. You'll shrink your dreams to fit your doubts. You'll wear a mask of strength, all while dying quietly inside from what you didn't do, didn't say, didn't become. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can change your entire destiny, not by removing fear, but by walking through it. You must train your mind not to eliminate fear, but to override it. To recognize it as a compass, not a stop sign. Fear shows you where the edge is, and on the edge is where you grow. Let me speak plainly. Fear is not real in the way you think. It is a future emotion built on imagined pain. It is a survival mechanism meant to protect. But in the modern world, it suffocates more dreams than it saves lives. You must stop listening to it like it's your protector. It's not. It is your limiter. And every time you obey fear, you reinforce the cage you live in. But every time you act in spite of it, even if your hands shake and your knees buckle, you send a message to your subconscious. I am in control, not fear, me. And this is the true beginning of mastery, because every action you take against fear is a vote for the person you're becoming. Want to become confident? Show up scared. Want to become bold? Speak when your voice trembles. Want to become unstoppable? Move when everything inside you screams to stay still. That is how greatness is built. Think of the men and women you admire. Do you think they became legends by staying comfortable? Do you think they avoided the hard things? Do you think they were fearless? No. They felt what you feel. They heard the same internal voice telling them to quit. They faced the same invisible wall, and they decided to go through it anyway. That's what made them who they are, and that's what can make you who you're meant to be. But you must decide. And I don't mean casually. I don't mean someday. I mean now, today. You must make a decision that fear will no longer define your actions. Because here's the reality. Fear is not going away. The path never gets easier, but you can become stronger. And strength is built through repetition under resistance. Every time you step into discomfort, you grow. When you grow, your problems shrink. Not because life got easier, but because you became more powerful. There's a reason most people don't live great lives. It's not because they're lazy. It's not because they're weak. It's because they never learn to face fear daily. They wait for motivation. They wait for confidence. They wait for guarantees. But the life you want is not built on waiting. It is built on decision, discipline, and defiance of fear. Do not wait for fear to leave. It won't. But if you move anyway, you'll leave it behind. Think of every breakthrough in your life. Every major moment of pride, every accomplishment you cherish. Weren't you scared before it? Weren't you unsure? And yet you did it, which means you can do it again. You must force yourself into growth. You must choose the discomfort. You must invite resistance and become the kind of person who thrives in it. Fear says, don't apply. You respond, I'm applying anyway. Fear says, what if they laugh? You say, let them laugh, I'm moving forward. Fear whispers, you're not ready. And you scream back, I'm doing it anyway. That is power, that is freedom, that is how you win. But it is not one decision. It is a lifestyle. It is your new identity. You are no longer someone who avoids fear. You are someone who turns toward it, who hunts it down, who sees it and thinks, there it is. That's where I'm supposed to go. And when you do that, everything changes. The money changes. The respect changes. Your energy changes. Your legacy begins. You don't need more confidence. You need more courage. Courage is taking action with the fear still present. And once you act, confidence follows. So don't wait. Don't plan forever. Don't try to figure it all out. Just take the next brave step. Send the email, make the call, post the video. Speak your truth. Quit the job, ask the question, say yes, say no. Move. Because here is the great truth that will shape your future. You don't get to build a legendary life without going through fear first. There is no other path. There is no shortcut. There is only this, face it. Feel it. Move anyway. That is what separates the remembered from the forgotten. That is what builds the unshakable. That is what makes a man a master. So now I ask you, what would your life look like if you pushed through fear every day? What would your world become if you stopped letting emotion hold you back? What if your default response to fear became action? You'd become unstoppable. You'd become dangerous. In the best possible way, you'd become the kind of person who no longer waits for life to give permission because you've given it to yourself. This is your time. This is your threshold. This is your moment. The world will try to tame you. Fear will try to contain you. But you're not here to be tamed. You're not here to play small. You are here to become everything you were born to be. So go. Do what is hard. Move toward fear and build the life that only courage can reach. Because in the end, you will either remember the fears that held you back, or you will be remembered because you conquered them. Now move. Now act. Now rise. Part 2, push through fear or be forgotten. The rebuild phase. So you've made the decision. You've stopped waiting. You've turned and faced your fear. Now what? This is where most people quit. Not at the beginning, but in the middle. When the excitement fades and the work begins. When the applause dies down and all that's left is you and your discipline. Let me be clear. Transformation is not an event. It is a commitment. It is what you choose after the motivation is gone. After fear comes resistance, and it is relentless. Resistance will ask you every single day, do you still want this? And you must answer with action, not words. Fear gets you to freeze. Resistance gets you to retreat, and you cannot afford to retreat. Not now, not after you've come this far. You've tasted what's possible when you stop running. Now you must decide, will you endure? Endurance is the hidden trait of all greatness. It's not flashy, it's not glamorous, but it is necessary. Without endurance, no skill matters, no talent saves you, no opportunity lasts. Let's break this down. You will face fatigue, not just physical but emotional. You will get tired of climbing, of waking up early, of being different, of not fitting in with the masses. But remember this, the discomfort of discipline is temporary. The discomfort of regret is permanent. You must outlast your old self. That voice that says, let's take a break. That habit that pulls you back into comfort. That fear that dresses up as logic. You cannot negotiate with them. You must outwork them. Because here's what they never told you. Mastery isn't about having everything figured out. It's about showing up again and again when it's boring, when it's painful, when no one's watching. That's how character is forged. And here's something else they don't say enough. You're going to fail. You're going to slip, to fall, to get it wrong. That doesn't disqualify you. That defines you. Every failure is a test. It asks, will you try again? If the answer is yes, you are already winning. Most people never fail, because they never try hard enough to reach the point of failure. You must fail faster. Fail forward, because on the other side of that failure is the exact lesson you need to rise. Let's talk about emotions. You will feel doubt. You will feel fear. You will feel lonely. But emotions are not commands. They are signals. You don't need to obey them. You need to understand them. Doubt says, check your strategy. Fear says, step into growth. Loneliness says, find your tribe. You are not your emotions. You are the one who commands them. You are not the storm. You are the captain sailing through it. Keep your hands on the wheel. You need to build habits that become identity. Habits that anchor you when motivation fades. Morning routines, deep work blocks, gratitude rituals, evening reflection. These are not hacks. They are anchors. When the wind blows, you stay rooted. And let me say this, You need vision. Without vision, even the strongest discipline dies. You must see your future so clearly that it pulls you forward when your legs feel heavy. That vision must be vivid, specific, emotional. Not just what you want, but who you are becoming. Visualize the man or woman who lives without fear, not because fear doesn't exist, but because they've mastered their response to it. Visualize the moment when it all clicks, when the world looks at you and sees what you already knew deep down. You were always capable. But here's the truth. The world is not waiting for you. It is moving with or without you. Every day you hesitate. Someone else's act. Every hour you delay. Your dream gets colder. This is the time to sprint. This is the season to build, to break patterns, to dominate distractions. This is the time to cut what no longer serves you and double down on the work that elevates you. This is your rebuild phase, not to recover what was lost, but to create what has never been seen. You will not rise because it's easy. You will rise because you refuse to stay the same, because you chose to force your mind because you got tired of waiting to be ready, and instead became the kind of person who acts before he feels ready. Let the world call you obsessed. Let them call you crazy. Let them say, "Who do you think you are?" Because one day they'll ask you, "How did you do it?" And you'll say, "I showed up. I pushed through. I rebuilt. I kept going when fear told me to stop." This is your legacy season. This is your rise. So keep walking through fear. Keep going. Keep built, because one day soon, the very thing that scared you will be the thing that built you. Now go. Finish the work. Show the world who you are becoming. Part 3. Push through fear or be forgotten. The legacy phase. You've made the choice. You've walked through the fire. You've rebuilt from the inside out. Now comes the final evolution. The legacy phase. This is where fear becomes fuel, where pain becomes purpose, where your life becomes the proof. Let me make this clear. Legacy isn't something you leave behind when you're gone. It's what you build while you're here. It's the impact you create through the life you choose to live today. Right now, in real time. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You need to be honest. Honest about your growth, your struggle, your mission. Because the world isn't changed by flawless people. It's changed by committed ones. Your story, your scars, your journey, they're not setbacks. They're signatures. They're the marks of someone who didn't give up, someone who kept showing up, someone who earned their name. And now others are watching. Whether you know it or not, someone is studying how you carry yourself, how you respond to difficulty, how you rise from pain. You are now the standard for someone else's survival. Act like it. This is not the time to shrink. This is the time to expand, not to impress others, but to express your truth, to serve with fire, to lead with humility, and to walk with conviction that your life matters, because it does. You're no longer chasing success. You're becoming a model of what's possible. That's legacy. You're no longer proving people wrong. You're proving yourself right. That's legacy. You're no longer surviving. You're designing. That's legacy. Legacy is built through habits, through systems, through unwavering standards that you don't lower, no matter who's watching, and especially when no one is. Legacy is not about being famous. It's about being faithful to your vision, to your values, to your voice. Even when the world gets loud, you stay centered. So the question is no longer what if I fail. The real question is what happens if I don't finish what I started. Who will miss out because you stayed small? Who won't be inspired because you played it safe? Who won't break their cycle because you didn't break yours? This world needs more warriors, not perfect ones, but present ones. People who rise not because they feel ready, but because they refuse to be ruled by fear anymore. You must now lead. Lead yourself. Lead your space. Lead your people. And you lead not by preaching, but by living. Your presence, your energy, your discipline, they speak louder than any words. And when those around you see your fire, they remember theirs. That is legacy. So push beyond comfort. Push beyond fatigue. Push beyond doubt. Because now you don't just carry your dream. You carry a responsibility to awaken others to theirs. And that responsibility is sacred. Every time you choose action over excuse, every time you rise when it would have been easier to fold, every time you choose principle over popularity, you are building something bigger than you. And one day, someone will stand taller because you didn't back down. Someone will breathe deeper because you didn't give up. Someone will believe they can because they saw you do it first. That is legacy. You are no longer who you were when this started. You are not defined by the fear that used to bind you. You are defined by the fire you chose to walk through, and the light you now carry forward. So let the world see your rise. Let the fear come. It will only sharpen you. Let the pressure come. It will only refine you. Let the test come. It will only prove what you've built inside. And when your time comes to be remembered, they won't just talk about what you achieved. They'll talk about who you became. They'll say, that was the one who kept going. That was the one who didn't flinch. That was the one who made us believe. That is what you are now building. That is what fear never wanted you to discover. But it's too late now. You've already started. You've already risen. You've already crossed the line. So finish it. Own it. And leave no doubt. You are here. You pushed through. And you changed everything. Part 4. Push through fear, or be forgotten. The immortal phase. There comes a point when the battle is no longer between you and fear. It becomes something greater. You've already walked through discomfort. You've rebuilt. You've created legacy. And now, you step into something only a few ever touched, the immortal phase. Immortality isn't about living forever. It's about becoming unforgettable. It's about building something that echoes long after you're gone. Because there's a difference between being remembered and being studied. When you enter this phase, fear has no seat at your table. Doubt knocks but finds no door. Distraction approaches, but you're unreachable. Why? Because your mission has overtaken your fear. Your purpose has swallowed your hesitation. You no longer work for comfort. You work for contribution. This is when the world begins to change, not because you demanded it, but because your life demonstrated. Every word you speak, every choice you make, every discipline you uphold. It ripples, and those ripples become movements. Movements become legacy. Legacy becomes immortality. You're no longer fighting for success. You're fighting for significance. You're no longer proving your worth. You're pouring it into others. You're no longer chasing outcomes. You're building impact. And the best part, you don't need permission. You don't need applause. You don't need the crowd. Because this level is quiet, sacred, internal. There's no spotlight, just you, your mission and your fire. You've earned this fire. You've bled for it. You've wept for it. Now let it speak, not through noise, but through consistency. And what does consistency look like at this level? It's the leader who shows up even when he's tired. It's the creator who keeps building long after others lose interest. It's the warrior who sharpens his blade in silence, not for praise but for purpose. This is where you multiply. Your influence expands not because you push harder, but because you've aligned fully. The internal and external are now one. The thoughts, the habits, the vision, they flow in rhythm. You are no longer forcing the climb. You've become the mountain. People around you feel your energy without you speaking. Your presence commands attention without needing to shout. Your silence teaches. Your discipline inspires. Your actions convict. This is what fear hoped you'd never reach. Because at this level, you become a builder of builders, a mentor of leaders, a force of nature that transforms rooms just by walking in. So what now? Now, you replicate. You teach, not with ego, but with fire. You start passing the torch, while keeping yours ablaze. You help others rise while continuing to elevate. You become the example that shatters excuses, the model that shows what's possible when fear is no longer in command. And when people ask how you became who you are, you won't list steps. You won't flash credentials. You'll say something simple, something unforgettable. I did what most feared. I walked toward the pain. I rebuilt from within. I didn't run. I rose. That's the truth. That's the work. That's immortality. So write it. Live it. Walk in it. And when your name is spoken, let it not just echo, but ignite. Part 5. Push through fear, or be forgotten. The awakening phase. You've walked through fear. You've rebuilt your foundation. You've forged a legacy. You've touched immortality. And now in the 5th and final chapter, you awaken. What does that mean? It means you no longer ask, who must I become? Because you've already become. You no longer wait for clarity. It lives within you. You no longer chase power. You are the power. This is the moment when everything clicks. When your purpose isn't just known, it's embodied. You become a living message, a transmission of truth, a walking demonstration of what happens when someone no longer bows to fear, no longer serves the world's expectations, no longer delays destiny. You become awakened not because you know everything, but because you know yourself. The awakened don't need motivation. They have alignment. They don't rely on external force. They move with internal fire. Every decision is intentional. Every action is clean. Every thought is sharpened. You've become the weapon and the wielder, the architect and the structure, the fire and the fuel. And this power, this rare, unshakable clarity, it comes with a responsibility. You must not fall asleep again. You must not get comfortable. You must not lose the hunger, because the moment you do, the world will begin to pull you back into numbness. The same world that told you to play small. The same world that sold you distraction as fulfillment. The same world that rewards fear with applause. But you've awakened. You felt what it's like to be fully alive, to be fully aligned, to live a day on fire with mission. So protect it. Build rituals that guard your energy. Build boundaries that protect your peace. Build circles that reflect your future, not your past. The awakened do not walk alone, but they walk with discernment. They do not follow crowds. They lead movements. They do not seek praise. They speak truth. And the truth is this: the life you've always wanted was never far away. It was just waiting on you, on your decision to step through fear, to reject the ordinary, to give up the illusion of safety in exchange for the truth of freedom. You've now seen what few ever will. You've felt what most never dare to feel. And now, you carry a frequency the world cannot ignore. Your voice holds weight. Your presence carries impact. Your example builds bridges for others to walk across. So rise daily, not for validation, but for vocation. Rise not to impress, but to awake. Rise not to chase legacy, but to live it in real time. Because this is the final transformation. You're no longer just pushing through fear. You're now leading others out of it. You've gone from seeker to guide, from student to master, from hidden potential to visible proof. This is what happens when a soul fully commits. This is what happens when a human refuses to settle. This is what happens when someone wakes up and never goes back to sleep. So now walk differently, speak intentionally, act deliberately, live audaciously, because the world is watching. And more importantly, you are watching. And when it's all said and done, when the noise fades and the lights dim, let the world say of you, that one was awake. That one changed everything. Part 6. Push through fear, or be forgotten. The final manifesto. So here we are, at the end, and yet, not the end at all. Because this journey, it wasn't about a finish line. It was about awakening something inside you that never sleeps again. If you've made it here, you've already proven that you're not ordinary. Ordinary would have turned back. Ordinary would have looked for comfort. Ordinary would have listened to fear. But you didn't. You listened to something deeper. The quiet voice that said, there's more in me. The whisper that grew into a roar. And now as we close this series, I give you this. Not just a message, not just a memory, but a manifesto. A personal declaration of who you now are, and how you will move through the world from this moment forward. So say this with your chest. Say it with your soul. I am no longer owned by fear. I see it. I feel it. and I move anyway. I am not waiting for the perfect moment. I create moments by acting with courage. I do not chase comfort. I pursue growth. I honor the discipline. I welcome the challenge. I rebuild when I fall. I rise when I'm broken. I stand for something bigger than applause. I stand for my mission. My legacy is in motion. My fire is not fading. My vision is not negotiable. I am not here to survive. I am here to awaken, to build, to lead and to leave no doubt. That is your call, your oath, your reminder when the days get dark and the pressure comes back. Because the truth is, it will come back. The fear, the resistance, the doubt, they don't vanish forever. But now you're ready for them. You've trained for them. You've built yourself into someone who doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, doesn't forget who they've become. And when life throws its next storm, you won't shrink. You'll smile. Because storms don't scare you anymore. You've become the storm. So let this be your final charge. Wake up tomorrow and move like your future depends on it. Because it does. Walk into your day like a weapon sharpened by fire. Speak only what lifts. Do only what builds. Think only what aligns. You've heard the voice. You've taken the step. Now it's time to run. Don't look back. Don't slow down. And don't ever let fear speak louder than your calling again. Because this is it. The rebirth. The rebuild. The rise. You are not who you were. You are not afraid anymore. You are the proof. You are the fire. You are the one who didn't quit. And for the rest of your life, you will never be forgotten. Part 7. Push through fear. Or be forgotten. The echo that lives forever. This is not just the final chapter. This is the pulse that continues after the speech ends, after the video fades, after the world goes quiet. Because what you've built across these 7 parts is not just motivation. It's a blueprint, a weapon, a mirror, a declaration. Let's remember what you've done. In part 1, you turned and faced fear. You stopped running. You took the first breath as someone no longer controlled by doubt. In part 2, you rebuilt, not with hype, but with habit. You found your rhythm. You developed your structure. You chose consistency over chaos. In part 3, you shifted from self to service. You understood that legacy is not an event. It's a daily decision. You began to lead, not just yourself, but others. In part 4, you stepped into the immortal phase. You stopped chasing success and started radiating significance. You became the storm, the stillness, and the standard. In part 5, you awakened fully. You no longer acted from emotion. You moved from alignment. You owned your purpose without apology. You became the message. In part 6, you sealed it. You declared your truth. You claimed your future. You left fear behind once and for all. You stepped into your full voice and vowed to never go back. And now, in part 7, you become the echo. Because every move you make from here on out will ripple. Your choices will become commands. Your presence will be a fort. Your name will stand for something. You are no longer just surviving fear. You are rewriting the story of what's possible for everyone who sees you. So here is the final message, the one I want echoing in your mind, long after this ends. The greatest speech isn't shouted, it's lit. And your life, if you choose to stay this path, will be that speech. So stand tall, one last time, right now. Take a breath, not from exhaustion, but from certainty. Look ahead, not with anxiety, but with command. And say this to yourself, not as a wish, but as a law. From this moment forward, I don't bow to fear. I walk with purpose. I rise with fire. I move like I've already won, because I know who I've become. I will not be silenced. I will not be slowed. I will not be forgotten, because I am the proof. I am the rise. I am the echo of greatness that lives forever. Now go, build it, live it. Let the world feel what you've become. This was never just a speech. It was your awakening, and the world will never forget it. Let this be your last reminder and your first command. You were not built for mediocrity. You were built for momentum, for movement, for mastery. The fact that you made it to the end of this journey means something. It means you're not the same person who started. You're not here by chance. You were called, chosen, and now changed. But this isn't where you rest. This is where you rise again. Because even after all the speeches, all the fire, all the revelation, fear will still knock tomorrow. Distraction will still whisper. Comfort will still call. But now you answer differently. You're not the follower anymore. You're not the doubter. You're not the one who backs away when the heat rises. You're the one who walks into it. Because pain no longer scares you. It shapes you. Doubt no longer delays you. It sharpens you, and fear no longer controls you. It confirms you. You don't need more hype. You need habit. You need alignment. You need execution. This is your season to multiply, to teach, to lead, to dominate, not others but yourself, to take this version of you and duplicate it in the world, so when people meet you, they feel something different. Not noise, not arrogance, not ego, but clarity, conviction, fire. You are not here to blend in. You are here to stand for something. You are here to become something no algorithm, no opinion, no obstacle can break. So if fear dares show its face again, let it, and then walk through it like you've done it 1,000 times. Because now, if the world forgets every word you've said, let them never forget the way you moved, with purpose, with grace, with relentless pursuit. You are not the speech. You are not the brand. You are the standard. Now breathe deep. Stand tall. Look forward. This is the edge, and you've never been more ready. Go further than you ever thought you could. Speak louder. Fear ever told you to stay quiet. Build bigger than comfort ever allowed. And if you ever wonder who you are, remember this. You are not fear. You are not failure. You are not waiting. You are the fire. You are the voice. You are the proof. So go, and let the world feel it. Let them remember it. Let them rise, because you did.